Okay, let's get to this. This is the big news around Bitcoin right now. GameStop looking to buy some Bitcoin. I mean, there's been people talking about this for probably a year now or more, like saying, GameStop, what are you doing? You got all this cash you're sitting on. Why aren't you putting that into Bitcoin? Why are you leaving it in US treasuries? Pretty sure anyways, they've just been hanging on to a bunch of cash. So anyways, the GameStop CEO met with Michael Saylor last week. There's been a little bit of buzz. Stock price has been going up and there's some rumblings. Okay, so the company is sitting on 4.5 billion in cash. That makes sense. That seems like a pretty good start to Bitcoin to me. So let's watch this. We'll see what Joe has to say about it.
Stop is considering investing in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. They say the company is still in the process of figuring out if it makes sense for the business and could still decide not to follow through with the investments. Last weekend, CEO Ryan Cohen posted a photo on X with Michael Saylor, co-founder of MicroStrategy, one of the biggest holders of Bitcoin. Two of the sources tell CNBC that Saylor, though, is not involved in GameStop's discussion about crypto investments at this time. GameStop soared as much as 20% in extended trading following that report. It's not at that point now, but still up almost 10%.
Find it all sort of tiresome.
What is a treasury investment or something? What's it got to? I don't know how.
No, well, the whole one of the bull theses, as you know, for Bitcoin is that corporate America is going to start putting it on the balance sheet. I don't know if that's exactly what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I mean,
here.
Like MicroStrategy or something.
People want Microsoft to do it. You know, all of the big.
I've seen that, but I thought in the strategy of what is GameStop now? It's got to. We've always wondered how they transition from bricks and mortar to everything that you get online for gaming now.
Yeah, I'm not sure that saying we're going to hold Bitcoin is, you know, you want to hold, you can just go hold Bitcoin. And I know that strategy, you know, acolytes think that they've been, you know, reinvented the wheel here on a more profitable way to do so. But the idea that you're going to get bailed out as a company by adopting that, not if it, what now more broadly, whether companies start putting some of their cash in Bitcoin, fine, that's a little different story.
And countries.
Right, countries.
Right. Countries. I mean, you can tell she's a 0-hour dipshit for sure. But yeah, it's interesting. Interesting to see what GameStop will do. I'm kind of honestly, you know, with her. She said it's tiresome that all these companies are adding Bitcoin to the balance sheet. It kind of is in the sense that they're using it as like a way to boost up their share price short term. But a lot of these companies, it just makes so much sense to be holding Bitcoin instead of cash. Like this isn't anything you know, crazy or hard to understand. One asset is losing purchasing power and value every single day, and one is going up 60% per year. So, I mean, it's anybody with any kind of business sense should be putting the majority of their longer term holdings on their balance sheet into Bitcoin. This doesn't have to be a marketing play every time. This is just good business sense, right? So I do imagine that GameStop will probably do it. It makes the most sense, and their share price will probably shoot up. Would I buy any of it? Probably not. I'm not a trader. I've tried timing things before. I've tried thinking that I'm smarter than the market. And for a lot of things, you just buy it and wait. That's the one thing I've learned. I've tried to get cute with these different things within the stock market. And I mean, Bitcoin's a perfect example of that. It's literally just buying it and holding on to it. And so if you're investing in companies within the Bitcoin ecosystem, you kind of take it with the same approach. In the sense of you buy this share, you know they're adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet. You know that they're going to hold any actual equity that they have in the company. It's going to be solid. And that's the best way to do it. So I really do think that we're kind of past the point of this being a huge opportunity for another company to be like a MicroStrategy. I think we got MicroStrategy, Semler, and Metaplanet. Those are kind of the three ones right now that are doing this successfully. And I just don't know how much demand there's going to be for more companies to do this, because the whole reason why they're paying so much of a premium for these shares is because they can't actually hold Bitcoin. And so, yes, the amount of corporations and entities looking to, you know, hold Bitcoin but can't will continue to go up. But eventually there's going to come a point where it just doesn't make sense anymore to be offering this type of solution to these entities. Plus, these companies over time will just start holding the Bitcoin themselves. They won't need MicroStrategy or Metaplanet or Semler to do it for them. They'll just be able to hold Bitcoin. They'll have a whole team dedicated to holding Bitcoin and managing their Bitcoin, managing their UTXOs, managing their payments out of there and into it. And the keys, there's a whole side to that. Like, think about every company on the planet. I really think that a lot of these companies, especially the public ones, are going to fail. Even Joe said there, like, what does this company do anymore? They sold video games in like a lot of malls. I don't know what GameStop does anymore. Like, is the video game industry still that active in terms of like people walking into a store and buying a game? I don't think so. It's pretty much a zombie corporation. There's a lot of corporations just like GameStop that I think will fail in the next decade, especially if they don't adopt Bitcoin. The only thing that could save them is that if they actually adopted Bitcoin, they used that Bitcoin to re-energize their business. That's, to me, that would be the best play right now for a lot of these companies, in the sense that they're still making profit. They still have a good business model. They still have a demand for their products or services, but they just they leverage that with Bitcoin. So they buy some Bitcoin. They don't do it for like the share price to go up. They don't do it for the long term, but they do it for like the next 2, 3, 5 years. And they use that Bitcoin and they fund their growth, investment in their company. And they'll be able to, let's say they put $100,000 into Bitcoin today, they might get $1 million worth of purchasing power out of that in a couple of years from now, which they could use to re-energize their business. So that's where I see this going more in the future. And GameStop could very well be one of those companies. Imagine buying 4.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, sitting on that for a couple of years, and then using that to, build something either online or whatever. I think that's the play, instead of just holding on it and hoping your share price goes up. I think the days of that is gone. So pretty cool though. It's a whole new wrench in play here, Bitcoin.